Miami has no shortage of Latin food, but for years, great Mexican food was hard to find. Then along came Eduardo, a kid from Mexico City with a deep passion for tacos. What started with a few friends in his backyard quickly became Miami's most popular pop-up. Ask any local and they'll tell you the Wolf of Tacos is the best in the city. So how this all start? What's with all the hype? And after years of pop-ups, what's next for the Wolf of Tacos? Before Eduardo ever set up a trompo in Miami, his story began years earlier.
What do you remember most about those summers in Mexico City?
The summers in Mexico City, I remember how cheap everything was for sure. My dollars went a long way. I could eat like 10 tacos with about $1.50.
That would imagine here.
Oh, I was great. I was the happiest little teenager. It was because I was working summer jobs, so I did have a little bit of cash. Immediately to fireworks and immediately to tacos.
And so then I guess those memories and those experiences, how did they shape your passion or interests, not just in eating tacos, but making them eventually?
Well, it developed I developed a craving for that, and not just on the food level, but also on a personal level. You know, it was one of the only times that I was allowed to leave the house, so that experience was deeply personal to me. Those I don't know, that half hour of me being allowed to go and explore and do my own thing, that was huge for me, and I needed to feel that again. So that I chased that feeling by looking for tacos, you know, to kind of replace that, and I couldn't find it. I really didn't.
So I think that's a good lead up to my next question, which is like, unfortunately, how did that also ruin your experience here in Miami
Well,
trying to get
yeah,
that
I
same
mean,
thing?
you know, I could never get it. I could never get it. So that, I mean, yeah, that in turn ruined that in Miami. Like it ruined kind of like tacos in Miami because nothing could remind me of that, of how I felt.
Growing up in Miami but spending summers in Mexico City, Eduardo fell in love with real street tacos and realized Miami's Mexican food didn't even come close. Those memories eventually pushed Eduardo to start making his own tacos, not for a business, but friends in his own backyard, and that's where everything changed.
And so what were those early days like in the backyard? Because remember you telling me, I think when we first met, that you started in your backyard making making tacos for your friends.
The early days were a lot of fun. They were crazy. I mean, I was working pretty much 6 days a week. I was off on Mondays, and Sundays I had a half day. So I'd get off of work, go to the house, prep. So this was from 5 to 9. I would prep, get ready, and then I'd open about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and stay open until about 5. So it was a party every weekend. It was a house party every weekend. So yes, that's a lot of fun.
And did you know early on that you wanted to make something out of this, or were you just playing around and wanted to have some fun with your friends?
I bought that trompo when I was 15. So I bought it on one of those crazy trips to Mexico, and in one of those fits of, I don't know, inspiration, I was like, dude, if I can't find it, I got to do it myself. And I felt that way at 15 years old. I went with my uncle to a Mexican market called La Merced, and he haggled all the vendors down. I ended up paying $70 for the first trompo. And I brought it with me in my luggage. Yeah, I left all my clothes, my shoes. I'm bringing my trompo. I bought a trompo, I bought a knife, and I bought a steel. And that's it. And I kept it actually in my closet until I finally used it for the first time 3 years later. But I knew that I wanted to do that. So I knew that if I wanted to do that, I needed to have the equipment to do it.
And when did you realize that this could turn into something bigger than a hobby?
Well, I mean, I don't think it ever was a hobby. Like I knew that I wanted to make it as a business, especially
From day one.
From day one, because I was paying my rent. Like that was also the catalyst. It was, I had no money during the pandemic. I had lost my job and I couldn't get a new one because of it. So doing all those gigs, like all the side work for my clients, you know, those little events, it was in an effort to generate cash so that I could pay my rent during COVID. So really, it wasn't about it being a hobby. It was more about, like, I knew that I lacked the discipline to make it a formal business, but it was always intended to be a business. Like I was generating cash. Like it was working. I was reinvesting it. I kept buying more equipment. Like I knew the direction that I wanted to go in. But yeah, it was always I always wanted to grow this.
What began as a few friends hanging out in Eduardo's backyard has grown into the most talked about tacos in Miami. The pop-ups quickly built a following, and soon everyone in Miami was talking about the Wolf of Tacos. But what exactly made them click with Miami locals?
And so once you started actually popping up in different spots around Miami, what was the kind of feedback you were getting from people?
The most important feedback were from exactly those initial people that came to the driveway, and they weren't. Most of them weren't really my friends. They were actually my old colleagues. And for the first couple months, those were the people that came to the tacos. It was entire crews of restaurants. You know, all I ever talked about were tacos. So that feedback was extremely important and kind of like shaped the way that I, modeled everything, like from the kitchen, from the service. Like I had a lot of really talented people to guide me and to support me. So it was those initial couple months of that quality of clientele that I was receiving, mainly hospitality.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it was their my house became the only watering hole after work, anywhere.
And what about people outside of the industry?
Outside of
were
the
they loving
industry,
it from day one
They
too?
were loving it. Yeah, they were loving it. They were like, dude, this is like real. It's on the street. They're $1. People love that shit.
And so was there a moment when you realized, oh, this is working. This is gonna work?
Well, my landlord was like, okay, Eduardo, you can do this only until you have a line around the block. And that was the moment I knew it was working because it was like very fast. It was actually on the same day that I hired a rock band. It was the same day that I had 2 rock bands to play at my house. I was like, you know what? I'm making some money. Let me hire my friends' bands. I've always wanted to freaking do this. Like, dude, I want to hire a rock
It
band.
sounds like you were trying to get yourself kicked out.
No. I wanted to do a party. Like I used to play music. So I used to be in a band. So I was like, dude, like I want to have that culture here. Like I wanted to produce an event. And oh my God, it was insane. That happened to be the busiest pop-up. So I had 2 bands in the back doing sound check, loud as fuck. And I had a line around the block, busy as fuck. Like people were ordering like 20 tacos at a time. I had like 100 tacos on the board. It was just me and like 3 other people in the service. And the cops showed up, shut down the party. Dude, that was insane. That was it there. I was like, okay, you know what? This is gonna work.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is gonna work.
And also, was that the same house that you had a party maybe 2 years in and you invited me?
Yes.
Was that same house?
my
Okay.
house. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The buzz built fast because its pop-ups deliver tacos people couldn't get anywhere else. Handmade tortillas, fresh salsas, and an actual trompo, unlike anything else in the city. Even now, with dozens of taco joints across Miami, the Wolf of Tacos sets itself apart in ways you can see before you even taste it.
When you opened the Wolf of Tacos, what were you hoping to do? What kind of food were you trying to make?
So the original concept of Wolf of Tacos was inspired by the Wolf of Wall Street. You know, you had the penny stocks, and then you had your blue chip stocks, your IBMs, your Coca-Colas, and then you had all the nonsense. You know, my intention was never to scam people, but I did want to have a balance of a taco that was cheaper and a taco that was more premium. Because that you can definitely see that divide in Mexico City. You'll never, for example, you'll never see cheese, like premium ingredients like cheese or ribeye, or even something as technical as a trompo on the street. Like it's just not something you see on the street. On the street is much more, I don't know, it's a different experience. On the street, you see suadero, you see tripa, you see all the nasty bits, you know, all the cheaper cuts of meat, like the head of the cow, the intestines of the cow, the intestines of the pig. You know, like that's kind of like the lower end of the taco. The Wolf of Tacos kind of like blurs those lines a little bit, and we can give you a little bit of the both. And we kind of highlight the fact that those lower end tacos deserve as much platform as those higher end. You know, everyone loves a cheap taco, but unfortunately, my tacos are not and will never be cheap. We have a new taco. This is a new taco. It's not even a month old. It's called the Al Vaquero is what I'm going to call it. Steak trompo. and it's a beef, like a beef al pastor, but I'm calling it al vaquero instead of an al pastor. This is the cowboy, and this is the shepherd.
Tell me about your salsas too, because I'm a huge
Salsas?
fan of those. Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
salsas are always fresh. That's why. That's like we make them often, and you can see over here we have them on display, and we have them for sale.
Oh, so people can take them home.
Yeah. We just made a fresh batch of the pickles. These are excellent. We've been making those in house too. But yeah, the sauces are always fresh. I keep the recipes, simple and easy to prepare in an effort to make them consistent. But yeah, I mean, there's no hiding behind fresh ingredients. Really, like that's the key.
But what are the 4 or 5 that you have?
The four sauces, I have my classic tomatillo. This is a very bright salsa. Kind of cuts through any fat. Like it's the most versatile. I can put that honestly on everything that I have. I have the morita. It's a little bit sweeter. It's a roasted salsa. It's very delicious. Actually, I think it's my favorite. I have the serrano emulsion, which is the green one that everyone thinks is guacamole, but learns very quickly that it definitely is not. That one is great. It's got a lot of roundness because we roast all the chiles and we do roasted garlic, and we emulsify that with some vinegar. So it's really nice. It's got a nice mouthfeel. And then we have the salsa de chile de árbol. And the salsa de chile de árbol, if you're careful with it, you can use it kind of like an ingredient to enhance the other ones. So if you like a spicier tomatillo, just a couple drops of the vinegar will oh my God, changes everything. You have like that one, you can make 3 new sauces with those other ones. Like, because sometimes it can be too spicy for somebody. So you don't have to put a full spoon. You put a couple drops.
Yeah, dude. Of all the Mexican places that I've had down here, your salsas are definitely my favorite for sure.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much.
Every tortilla made by hand, a giant trompo spinning, and every plate feels like it came from a backyard party you wish you were invited to. For years, the Wolf of Tacos moved from event to event, but his turning point came when he got an unexpected shot at a permanent home in downtown Miami.
So how'd this opportunity to open up here come your way?
Well, thank you, Felix. Thank you for that. That's really the main reason the opportunity came our way.
And what made it the right opportunity for you and the right time?
The right opportunity for me, well, I mean, look at it. It's like a taco stand. It's 3 open on 3 sides. And that was probably the most important factor because we've been offered spaces before, but we had, as a customer, you had to be able to feel the heat of the throne. That was like kind of like my criteria. We told our brokers, like if they can't feel the heat from a trompo, we don't want it. They have to be able to get that close to see and feel the energy that the taqueros bring to the service.
Yeah. And so then what's next for you?
What's next? Well, we want to dial in this location, maybe flirt with opening a second one, but honestly, event season is next, and we're kicking it off with our 5-year anniversary party. So please, tickets are on sale. You guys have to come check it out.
After years of bouncing between events, Eduardo found a new home here. Today, the Wolf of Tacos is doing better than ever, and more people are enjoying his tacos every single day. And tucked inside a busy trade station, it still feels like one of those spots you're glad you found before everyone else.